The Bible is much more than a book. It is a collection of stories that have shaped cultures, values, and beliefs over millennia. Have you ever stopped to think about what makes this text so special? Why does it continue to influence the lives of billions of people around the world? As you explore its pages, you encounter accounts of love, betrayal, faith, and doubt. But what really lies behind these accounts? What makes them so powerful and universal? Each verse, each parable carries with it a depth that resonates in different contexts. Have you ever wondered how these texts were formed? What voices and experiences were behind their writing? In fact, the history of the Bible is a complex tapestry of traditions and interpretations, intertwined over time and crossing geographical and cultural boundaries. As we unravel this history, we can discover not only the mysteries of the Bible, but also those of humanity.
While some see the Bible as a manual for life, others consider it a literary work, rich in symbolism and meaning. Do you feel comfortable exploring these diverse perspectives? What does this reveal about us and our search for purpose? The story of the Bible is, in fact, a story of connection between the sacred and the profane, between the divine and the human. It leads us to reflect on the deepest questions that permeate our existence.
As we dive into this fascinating narrative, we invite you to question your own beliefs and values. What does this story mean to you? What universal truths can be found within the pages of this book? As you explore it, you may discover new ways to understand not only the Bible but also yourself and the world around you. If you feel intrigued and wish to delve deeper into this journey of discovery, be sure to subscribe to our channel and leave a like. Every like and subscription helps spread this message to more people, allowing us to explore together the mysteries and teachings that the Bible has to offer. Are you in? The Bible, this vast collection of texts, encompasses an impressive diversity of literary genres, from lyrical poetry to epic narratives and moral instructions. The structure of the Bible is not merely random, it is a mosaic that reflects human experiences and relationships with the divine. The Old Testament, for example, is filled with accounts ranging from the creation of the world to the journeys of the Hebrew people, each story offering a window into understanding God and oneself. As one delves into the New Testament, the transformation becomes palpable. The stories of Jesus, his teachings, and miracles introduce a new perspective on divinity, showing a God who becomes human and draws near to the people. This is an invitation to reflection. What does it mean to you that the divine walked among us? This connection brings hope, love, and a new way of seeing the world, challenging the old perception of a distant and unreachable God. The word Bible comes from the Greek biblion, which means book. Thus, understanding what the Bible is requires more than just reading it. It is a deep dive into the history, culture, and traditions that shaped each verse. This book is not just a text, it is a testament to the human struggle for understanding, belonging, and truth. Each chapter and verse encapsulates lessons that transcend time and resonate with the universal human experience. However, what truly distinguishes the Bible is the way its messages are interpreted. For some, it is a spiritual guide. For others, a historical record. Disputes over its meaning and application continue to echo among various religious denominations. Each of them, with its unique traditions and understandings, seeks to answer fundamental questions of existence, purpose, and morality. This is an invitation to explore the layers that make up the Bible, revealing not only its texts, but also the lives and cultures surrounding it. With each reading, new meanings may emerge, and new truths may be discovered. The Bible, therefore, is not just a book to be read, it is a journey to be lived, a dialogue between the sacred and the everyday that continues to shape humanity. The origin of the Bible is a fascinating labyrinth of traditions, cultures, and intertwined stories. The texts that compose it were written over centuries in various historical contexts, reflecting the struggles and aspirations of their authors. Oral tradition played a crucial role in transmitting wisdom and teachings from generation to generation before they were finally recorded in writing. These accounts became pillars of faith and identity, shaped and enriched by the experiences of the people. The early books of the Old Testament are largely attributed to figures such as Moses and the prophets. These texts reveal not only laws and precepts, but also narratives about the relationship of the people with God, who guided them on their journey. Each word carries emotional and spiritual weight, expressing the quest for meaning and the need for connection with the divine in times of uncertainty and challenges. These writings shaped the identity of a nation and its understanding of the sacred. Over the years, Jewish and Christian communities spread, each carrying their traditions and stories. This diffusion resulted in variations in the texts and their interpretations. Oral and written traditions coexisted, creating a rich fabric of narrative and doctrine that continues to evolve. What is evident is that the Bible is not a static document, but a dynamic work, with layers of meaning that continue to unfold as new voices join the conversation. Canonization, the process by which certain books were selected as part of the Bible, also sparked heated debates. What truly determines the authority of a text? How did different communities decide which stories and teachings should be preserved? This question opens doors for discussions about the diversity of interpretations and the contemporary relevance of sacred texts. What was considered sacred at one time may resonate differently in another. Thus, when considering the origin of the Bible, it becomes clear that it is not just a book. It is a collection of lives, struggles, and hopes that continue to connect with human reality. Each chapter offers a new perspective, a new invitation to reflection. The teachings found here challenge the way we perceive our role in the world and our relationship with the sacred. It is a continuous invitation to explore, question, and above all, understand. The translations of the Bible are one of the most fascinating and challenging aspects of its history. Each version carries the responsibility of conveying not only words, but profound meanings that transcend cultures and eras. As the sacred texts were translated from their original languages, Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek, different interpretations emerged, reflecting the values and realities of the peoples who received them. Each translation is therefore a unique window into the understanding of the sacred. One of the most influential translations was the Septuagint, made in the 3rd century BC, which made the Hebrew texts accessible to the Hellenistic world. This version not only helped disseminate Judaism, but also influenced early Christians, who saw the Septuagint as a way to understand the message of Jesus. Over time, translations like the Latin Vulgate and the King James Version became landmarks in the history of Christianity, each shaping the faith and culture of their respective eras. However, the task of translating is not merely technical, it is deeply interpretative. Words and concepts can vary in meaning depending on cultural and historical context. What may be considered a simple word in one language can encompass a range of emotions and nuances in another. This leads to questions about which translation truly reflects the original intention of the authors. Every word choice can affect the understanding and application of biblical teachings. The modernization of translations with more accessible language has brought new challenges and opportunities. By making them more understandable, a new generation can connect with texts that previously seemed distant or difficult. However, this ease of access also raises questions about the depth of interpretation. It is essential that when we read a contemporary translation, we seek not only to understand, but also to feel the weight of the traditions that lie behind it. Thus, the translations of the Bible offer us a kaleidoscope of meanings that reflect the diversity of human experience. With each new version, a new story emerges, enriching our understanding of a text that never ceases to surprise us. As we explore these nuances, we are invited to deepen our own relationship with the Bible, realizing that even in an era of modernity, the sacred texts still have much to teach us. The role of biblical interpretation throughout history reveals the human struggle in search of truth and meaning. From the earliest days, different groups and religious leaders have attempted to decipher what the sacred texts mean for their communities. This interpretation is not static. It molds itself according to socio-cultural and historical contexts. What resonated in the time of Moses may have a different impact in the modern world. This dynamic nature makes the Bible a living source of wisdom, constantly relevant and evolving. The hermeneutical traditions, which are the various approaches to interpreting the Bible, offer a fertile ground for debate. Some may adopt a literal perspective, seeking the exact meaning of the words, while others may lean toward a more symbolic or metaphorical reading, exploring the deeper truths underlying the texts. Each approach is valid, and, at the same time, raises questions about absolute truth. As each religious tradition chooses to interpret and apply biblical teachings, the plurality of understandings reveals itself. Reform movements have also influenced biblical interpretation, bringing forth new ways of understanding faith. During the Protestant Reformation, for example, the idea emerged that everyone has the right to read and interpret the Bible for themselves. This democratized access to the Word, but it also generated fragmentation in the understanding of the texts. New denominations and interpretations arose, each offering a distinct vision of what it means to live according to biblical teachings. Meanwhile, the Catholic tradition preserves a more communal and hierarchical understanding of interpretation, valuing the role of the Church in guiding the faithful. This fundamental difference in approaches can cause confusion, but it also offers a wealth of perspectives. The diversity of interpretations is a testament to the complexity of the Bible and the depth of human experience, revealing that, even with disagreements, the search for truth is a shared endeavor. What becomes evident is that biblical interpretation is not merely an academic exercise. It reflects the lives and experiences of people. The stories contained in the Bible speak of love, pain, hope, and faith, universal themes that continue to resonate in our hearts. With each reading and each discussion, new layers of meaning can be discovered, leading to a deeper understanding and a stronger connection with the divine. This interpretative journey is an essential part of what it means to be human and spiritual. Life experiences profoundly shape how each person connects with the Bible. For some, the sacred texts offer comfort in times of pain, while for others, they serve as practical guides to face everyday challenges. This personal and intimate relationship transforms the reading of the Bible into something much more than a mere act. It is an ongoing conversation with the sacred. The words come alive in each shared story and in every lesson applied, creating a bond that transcends time and space. The narratives of figures like Abraham, Moses, and Jesus are not just ancient stories, but mirrors reflecting the reader's own faith journeys. Each person can see themselves in their struggles and victories, recognizing that these human experiences are universal. The empathy generated by these stories is a bridge connecting the past to the present, showing that, regardless of cultural differences, human emotions are timeless and connect us all intrinsically. In various religious traditions, personal testimony holds considerable weight. The way people share their faith stories, doubts, and transformations brings new understanding to biblical texts. These personal experiences offer a unique perspective, revealing how sacred teachings can be lived out practically. This exchange of experiences creates a rich environment for learning and spiritual growth, where everyone is invited to join the conversation. As new generations encounter the Bible, they interpret it through the lenses of their own experiences and contemporary challenges. Social, ethical, and existential questions arise, demanding a re-evaluation of established traditions. This ongoing relevance of sacred texts shows that the Bible is not a relic of the past, but a source of reflection and action in the present. The need to understand and apply biblical principles is increasingly urgent in a constantly changing world. This dialogue between the ancient and the modern allows the Bible to continue resonating in hearts and minds. The search for meaning and purpose, the need for hope and redemption, remains central to the human experience. The stories that make up the Bible are not mere moral lessons. They are invitations to a deeper relationship with God and with others. Each reader is challenged to find their place within this great narrative, contributing to the continuity of this sacred and living story. The diversity of Bible translations plays a crucial role in shaping different beliefs and practices. Each version carries nuances that reflect the cultures and contexts of the translators. The way a passage is translated can alter its meaning, thereby impacting the understanding of fundamental doctrines. This multiplicity of translations provokes discussions among faith communities, where the quest for the exact word becomes a journey of discovery and questioning. Translations are not merely literary, they are also theological. Behind every word choice lies an interpretation that may resonate in distinct ways. For example, the use of terms like love or compassion can be explored in various forms, reflecting the different values of each tradition. This debate about the meaning of words is not only academic, It touches the essence of the religious experience and how people understand divine love in their lives. The debates over translation also reveal a deep desire for authenticity and connection. Religious communities often gather to discuss which version of the Bible best represents their beliefs. The search for truth is not limited to understanding the text. It involves reflection on the identity and mission of the group. These dialogues, no matter how intense, enrich the experience of faith and highlight the depth of each person's spiritual quest. The way different denominations approach the Bible also shows variations in emphasis on their doctrines. For some, the authority of Scripture is unquestionable, while others may seek a more critical perspective, questioning traditional interpretations. This dynamic prompts communities to reflect on how worship practices, morality, and daily life are shaped by their beliefs, influencing how they live out spirituality in practice. The Bible, with its rich tapestry of stories and teachings, continues to be a battleground of ideas and meanings. As believers grapple with contemporary issues, their interpretations and practices evolve, leading to a rich diversity of understandings. This multiplicity is both a source of tension and beauty, as it demonstrates the vitality and ongoing relevance of sacred texts. In the end, the quest for understanding transforms into a collective journey, where every voice and experience counts and enriches the sacred narrative. Religious practices derived from the Bible are equally varied and reflect the rich cultural tapestry of their communities. In some traditions, liturgy is deeply formal, filled with rituals that evoke a sense of reverence. In others, the expression of faith occurs in a more spontaneous manner, with an emphasis on emotional worship. These differences not only shape the religious experience, but also reveal how communities perceive their relationship with the divine. Rituals such as baptism, communion, and religious festivals are interpreted in ways that vary from one tradition to another. For some, they are acts of obedience and symbolism, while for others, they represent a personal transformation experience. This diversity of practices reflects the various ways individuals find to connect with the Bible and its message. The interaction between practices and sacred texts becomes a fertile space for the growth of faith. The role of religious leadership also varies among traditions, influencing how the scriptures are taught and lived. Some leaders interpret the texts authoritatively, while others encourage exploration and debate. This dynamic of leadership creates a space where believers feel empowered to seek their own understanding. The diversity of voices, then, becomes a point of strength, enriching the interpretation of the Bible and inviting critical reflection. The influence of local culture on biblical interpretations is undeniable. Each region brings its own experiences, challenges, and values, shaping how biblical teachings are perceived and applied. This fusion of faith and culture results in a rich diversity of expressions that make the biblical message more accessible and relevant. The way believers gather to worship, learn, and grow in their faith is a living manifestation of this dynamic interaction. Finally, this diversity should not be seen as an obstacle but as a gift. Each interpretation, ritual, and practice is an expression of the human quest for meaning and connection with the sacred. The plurality of voices that emerge from the Bible makes the spiritual experience richer and more complex. What may seem like disagreement often reveals itself as a vibrant tapestry, where each thread tells part of the larger story, uniting the past and present in a shared quest for truth. Stories of transformation and miracles mark the trajectory of various traditions that draw biblical teachings. Moments of healing, liberation, and conversion are celebrated as evidence of divine action. These narratives not only inspire, but also strengthen the faith of those who witness or hear about these experiences. By sharing testimonies, the community unites, reinforcing the idea that the Bible is more than a text. It is a living guide that continues to impact lives daily. Many remember profound experiences in worship services, where the atmosphere becomes electrically charged with anticipation. These often transcendent spiritual experiences, which provoke intense emotions, are interpreted as signs of divine presence. The stories of transformed lives emerge as powerful statements of faith, proving that the connection with the divine is not merely theoretical, but practical and personal. This experience is essential for understanding how biblical doctrines manifest in daily life. The dialogues that arise from these experiences are also revealing. Communities exchange ideas, discuss, and debate the interpretation of scriptures, allowing for collective growth. This space for dialogue not only educates, but also humanizes, making people feel comfortable expressing their doubts and yearnings. The journey of faith, with all its imperfections and challenges, is validated when there is a genuine exchange of experiences and understandings. As stories intertwine, a new layer of meaning emerges. Each account is not just an isolated experience, but a part of a larger mosaic that narrates God's ongoing work in the world. The diversity of experiences highlights the idea that there is no single way to experience spirituality. Instead, each story brings to light different aspects of the same truth, enriching everyone's understanding of faith. This plurality of experiences and interpretations invites a deeper exploration of the scriptures. The personal connection with sacred texts intensifies as communities share their stories, enriching the tapestry of faith. The Bible then becomes a space for dialogue, reflection, and transformation, where each person can find a unique and personal meaning in their spiritual journey. This ongoing dialogue between texts, traditions, and experiences is what keeps the flame of faith alive. Each religious tradition establishes a unique bond with the Bible, shaping not only its doctrines but also how its followers experience it. The interpretation of biblical stories goes beyond mere reading. It is an exercise in emotional, cultural, and historical connection. These bonds are deeply rooted in the collective experiences of communities, reflecting the diversity of understandings that make the richness of faith even more palpable. The rituals and celebrations that emerge from these interpretations are a living expression of devotion. Each religion brings its own perspective, creating a colorful tapestry of practices that celebrate the same essential message of the Bible. These practices become means of connection not only with the divine, but also among community members. The unity that arises during moments of celebration is a reaffirmation of the collective commitment to the truths that the Bible represents. In the quest for answers and understanding, interreligious dialogue also plays a fundamental role. Exchanging experiences and perspectives with those from different traditions provides a broader view of spirituality. It is in this exchange that many discover that despite differences, there is a common substrate that links everyone in the pursuit of the same purpose: to understand and live faith authentically. These encounters reveal not only respect, but also curiosity in exploring the uniqueness of each belief. Unraveling the interpretations of the Bible requires openness and a willingness to learn from others. When the validity of another's experience is recognized, faith is enriched, becoming a dynamic space for spiritual growth. Tradition and innovation can coexist, bringing new insights to eternal truths. This process is not only enriching, it is essential for spirituality to remain relevant in a constantly changing world. As religions continue to interact and influence each other, the Bible becomes a meeting point. The diversity of interpretations is celebrated, as it highlights the complexity of what it means to believe and live faith. This continuity of dialogue and discovery promises a vibrant future for spirituality, where each story, each practice, and each interpretation becomes a valuable part of the collective journey toward the divine. The plurality of biblical interpretations is also reflected in the way communities face contemporary challenges. In times of crisis, different readings provide support and hope, adapting to the needs of the faithful. Stories of faith, resilience, and overcoming become anchors, bringing comfort in moments of uncertainty. The richness of religious traditions offers a range of perspectives that intertwine, creating a network of mutual support that transcends geographical and cultural boundaries. The role of new generations in this context is fundamental. Young people from diverse religious backgrounds are engaging in discussions that promote understanding and respect. With access to diverse information, they not only become critical of their traditions but also explorers of what spirituality can offer. This curiosity generates a new approach to the biblical text, bringing to light relevant issues for the current reality and encouraging the reinterpretation of ancient stories in new lights. While modernity challenges some traditional beliefs, it also presents an opportunity for renewal. Religions are forced to rethink their teachings, considering social, ethical, and environmental issues. This critical reflection can lead to a deeper integration of biblical teachings into the everyday lives of the faithful, showing that the wisdom found in scriptures is timeless and still extremely relevant. The challenge is to find ways to make these teachings accessible and applicable to all. The connection between biblical interpretations and the personal experience of each believer is also noteworthy. Each story, each character, resonates in the lives of people around the world. These narratives become mirrors in which the faithful see their own struggles and triumphs. Stories of love, loss, faith, and doubt transform into a guide, leading to reflection on one's own spiritual journey. This identification is key to a deeper understanding of the messages contained in the Bible. The journey of spirituality continues, with diverse traditions intertwining and evolving. Each interpretation brings a new dimension to the biblical narrative, creating a rich mosaic of beliefs and practices. As the faithful engage in dialogues, celebrate their differences, and recognize their similarities, the understanding of the Bible expands, allowing everyone to find their place within this larger story. This continuous movement promises a vibrant and inclusive future, where spirituality resonates in every heart. The search for spirituality transforms into a path filled with discoveries and reunions. Each interpretation and every shared story create an environment where dialogue becomes essential. Respect for different perspectives enriches everyone's experience, showing that despite the differences, the essence of faith and hope permeates each narrative. This connection among believers allows the biblical message not only to resonate, but also to become a unifying force, making people feel part of something greater. As this journey unfolds, the bonds between believers strengthen, communities form, driven by a common desire to deepen their understanding of spirituality and apply the teachings of the Bible in daily life. This strengthening of relationships creates a welcoming environment where vulnerability is valued and every voice is heard. The exchanges become learning experiences where everyone feels supported in their individual quests while also being united as a collective body. Exploring these aspects of spirituality provides a constant invitation to reflection and action. The Bible is not a static book. Its pages are a fertile ground for personal and collective transformation. With each new conversation and each new interpretation, faith becomes a continuously evolving journey, challenging believers to become more authentic and engaged in their communities. This dynamic generates a vibrant environment full of potential, where everyone can grow and develop. For those who wish to delve even deeper into this fascinating universe, the channel explores a variety of impactful topics about the Bible, offering new insights and reflections. If you are seeking understanding and connection, each video is an opportunity to expand your knowledge and strengthen your faith. Don't miss the chance to join us on this journey. Subscribe to the channel and leave your like so we can continue sharing these inspiring stories.